Today, we're talking about the stress that can come from the COVID-19 pandemic, how it affects you, your family, pretty much everyone is dealing with it. I'm happy to welcome to this conversation Adam Jablin. You're a coach, an author, and a speaker, and you're here to help us de-stress just a little bit if we can.
I'm happy to be here. Absolutely.
Let's talk about prioritizing mental health. I know a lot of people are worried about their physical health when it comes to COVID. They're worried about their financial health when it comes to keeping or losing their jobs. Why should we prioritize mental health specifically?
Absolutely. That's the greatest question because it all starts in the mind. The way you get to go work out is you have a thought to go exercise. The way you want to become more financially free is it comes in a thought or an anxiety. So to take care of our mind, be it reading good literature, learning to meditate, nourishing it properly, it aligns you. And when you have a good mindset, everybody gets the benefit of it. Your spouse, your children, your neighbors. And when you don't have a positive mindset, everyone gets that too.
Right. I mean, you're a parent, I'm a parent. A lot of parents say, I feel bad taking time for myself because that's time that I could be, doing distance learning, doing the laundry, getting dinner on the table, always doing for others. How do you talk that parent who's so reluctant to do for themselves into taking that time?
I think that we have the wrong definition of what selfish really is. Selfish is if I have a big giant steak or whatever it is that I'm not going to give you a taste. But self-care is completely different. Very similar to when they say when you're on the airplane and the oxygen masks, put it on you first. If you get the proper sleep, if you get the proper exercise, if you're eating well, if you're making yourself a priority, everybody gets the benefit of that, specifically the children. When you're a nervous wreck, when you're angry, when you're irritable, the first people to notice to have that radar are your kids. Because, we're the ones that put the buttons in them. They know the wiring. So, we want to be able to stay calm, relaxed, loose around the kids so they don't turn into nut jobs.
Right. And it's also about modeling, right? Because if they see that mom or dad deal with problems by stressing out, eating or drinking too much, or avoiding confrontation, then they think, okay, well, I guess that's what we do with problems in this family. And then you're just perpetuating that cycle. Let's talk about something I know that you know intimately. Distance learning, right? Trying to work from home and also trying to help teach your children from home. What are some of the best ways that we can not lose our minds when that happens?
First off, I got to give my wife a ton of credit of how amazing she has been. For me, what I have seen is kind of like be a boxer, go in and go out, right? Like, because if you're by the computer and you're on the Zoom and there's the education's happening and you're writing notes and your kids are writing notes, it's just so much pressure. Stand up. I know this sounds crazy, but we're living in a new world. Stand up, stretch, do a set of push-ups. You know what I mean? Say a joke, do something to kind of relax this whole new environment we're in. Like, I'm not in the studio with you. Right. I'm seeing you. It's new for all of us. So just kind of like stop taking everything so seriously. That's the main thing. You know what I mean? Stop it. Everything's going to be okay.
How do you prioritize? Like, look, I grew up in a household where academics were very important. My parents wanted me to get good grades. They wanted to see me succeed academically. I'm 100 years old. The phrase social emotional learning was not around when I was in elementary school, right? How do you help parents teach their children and kind of lead their children into a place that they maybe have never been to before, but certainly weren't there when they were their children's age?
Well, I use myself as example. That's actually what I always do, is I use myself as the example. I don't come from a place of preaching or I know better. It's from my experience. And from my experience, what I've seen is, we're this new hybrid of parents. We're kind of, we're still parental, and yet we're closer with our kids than our parents were with us. We have a different dynamic. So always be there to guide, to teach, to learn, but also use that other side of us to show the kids that we have feelings too.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Like, this is okay. We're all in this together. None of us have been in a pandemic before.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell the parents. Speak to your kid. Don't judge them. Don't sit there on a pedestal judging them. Speak to them. Really be with your kids. My kids love me because I don't judge them.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a phrase that I say to my little one, who is my troublemaker. I say, I love you no matter what and all the time. Because the last thing I want is for him to, screw up at school or get in a big fight with a friend and think, oh, I can't tell mom and dad. And I'm like, whatever you have to bring me, we're going to deal with it together. I love you no matter what and all the time. Another phrase that I use.
You know what else I taught my kids? I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm so sorry. It's the Zoom thing. I also do this thing with, I'll show it to them. I said, don't ever confuse love and approval. Don't confuse that, right? Like, I may not approve of every decision you make as you grow up, but I'll always love you. But if you're seeking my approval, like as in I'll tell dad this, even though I'm doing that, everything gets confused.
Yeah. Another phrase that I'm saying that I probably never heard my parents say was, I don't know. As in, my boys are in 5th and 6th grades now. We just started school this week. They're asking me things. And even last spring when they were doing distance learning, like multiplying fractions or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know, because it's been 100 years since I was in 5th and 6th grade. And so once I revealed to them that I actually have no idea what they're doing in their schoolwork, we approached it as like, so let's learn this together. And it took a lot of pressure off me.
I'm proud of you. My kids.
It was hard.
My kids were smarter than me in 2nd grade. You know what I mean?
You didn't even last that long. Yeah.
Yeah, our children are they're so smart. I mean, I'm really proud of our whole generation. These kids are the future.
I think the kids will be okay. Let me talk a little bit about you personally here. You have a new book coming out. It's called Lotsaholic, and it's lots of kids, and it's lots of work, and it's lots of love, and it's lots of frustration. Tell me about your new book.
So, Lotsaholic. Check this out. I have a copy right here. Lotsaholic, from a sick to sober Superman. This book is a memoir. It's me getting clean and sober, but you get to see everything that we just talked about. I didn't have those skills. I was full of anxiety. I was running a multi-million-dollar business. I was a new dad. I would want to be a good husband, and I just couldn't take it. I couldn't have that mindset that we spoke about in the beginning. So I was taking Xanax, and I was drinking, and I was popping pills like crazy because I just couldn't shut this up. I ended up in an intervention, which ended me up in rehab, and you go through the whole rehab journey with me, where I have a spiritual experience and things changed. And what I thought was a jail turned into spiritual camp. And you see me develop my new recovery skills, the mindset, the mental, emotional, spiritual life. And it's told with a lot of heart. It's told with a lot of humor. And I wanted people to be able to access that information that I was so blessed to receive in this treatment center. Not everybody, especially nowadays, not everybody can afford it. Not everyone can afford it. So that's what I wanted to do and share those lessons with people.
And finally, since you've been on the other side, you've been through the tunnel, what do you say to people who are making the same mistakes that you made in your before? Because I'm sure if you can save one person from going through what you had to go through to get to today, you would do it. So what do you say to those people who are doing it that way, the before way?
Absolutely. Look, I say that I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I look them in the eye, like, I get it. I'm the one guy that nobody ever, when I admit to them that I'm an alcoholic and an addict, no one's ever been like, oh, I never saw that in you. Everyone's, oh, yeah, I see that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have that energy. I have that, the wine list always comes to me. I have that. So I look at them and I say, I get it. But if you share with me, if you share it, we'll cut it in half. We need each other. That's the truth. We need each other. And this is a lot better than,
Yeah.
So talk, share, get it out of you.
Yeah. Well, I love it. So the new book is Lotsaholic. You can hold it up for us again.
Yes,
And Adam,
ma'am. Yes,
tell us,
ma'am.
you have a good website too. If people who are hearing this and learning about you for the first time, how can they access more information online?
Yeah, you can access me at www.adamjablin.com. I'm also really proud of my Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, all the social media. I'm on there right now.
Okay, so the last name is Jablin, like what you throw, but with a B. Adam Jablin, author, coach, speaker, author of Lotsaholic. Thank you for joining me today.
I appreciate you having me.